he's just talking about us as a nation. And so when I talk about us as a nation, I'm talking about how we're governed, not how we behave. That's going to be the culture side. So when we talk about us as a nation, it's kind of interesting. When you look at the Declaration of Independence and how it starts, you can use this word liberty over and over again, but it talks about this idea of a creator who gives the citizens of this nation, he calls it unalienable rights. Now, what does unalienable mean? What do you guys think?
You can't take it away.
Can't take it away, and no one can give it to you except God. It doesn't come from government. They did that for a reason. In fleeing tyranny with King George III in England, King George said, I'm the law. I'll decide your rights. So deliberately our founders said, never again, never will a king or a tyrant tell us what our rights are as people. They're inalienable. They come from a creator. And no one, even if the government puts me in prison, they can't take them away because it's from God. That's the Declaration of Independence, with this emphasis on the word liberty, which is really an interesting word. Now, when you look at our Constitution, it's really interesting. Our Constitution brings up this thing again of liberty, right? What do we mean by liberty?
The freedom to do what we should.
Huh?
The freedom to do what we should.
Yeah, so explain that a little bit when you say that. That's not a typical definition you're going to get from people.
In the First Amendment, it outlines our freedoms, but it specifically tells us that we do not have the freedom of escaping consequence. And if we do freely what we want, that means we might do things that have consequences, but we're not free of those consequences, which means we have the liberty or the freedom to do what we should.
Yeah, so let's, yeah, Devin, so let's look at what that really means and talk about it a little bit. So, on the Liberty Bell, sitting there in Philadelphia, is Leviticus, right? So Leviticus, this is where they get the concept of liberty for our nation. It comes from the Old Testament first, then it comes from John chapter 8. So this whole concept of liberty is a foreign concept to every other nation in the world. You will not hear liberty as a founding principle in socialist France or anywhere in Europe. I don't think we understand what we're dealing with here. The only other place you're going to find it close is probably South Korea now, and that's because we gave it to them. So our country is founded on this principle of liberty, and what that really means as an individual, not as a nation. And by having individual liberty, you limit the government, so the government can never impose itself on you. And so the goal of the government are to have laws to protect and serve. That's all government's supposed to do. If you actually look at what Andrew Jackson wrote, he said, the main role of government is to protect us from foreign invasion, to take care of us when states have difficulties, when there are problems. You know, you could have like the pandemic. You could have things happen where you need assistance from the government. And then to uphold the law. But not to overreach the states. So it's a very interesting concept. It's all about the individual. And as Devin just said, the issue is when you have liberty, it centers back on accountability. So this whole idea of liberty being not doing what you want, but doing what you should. Does this make sense? We don't think about this very much. I used this example in class before. Do you feel like you're free to get in your car and go anywhere you want? Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you free to do anything you want in your car?
No.
Right. If I'm driving on the road and it says 55 miles an hour, I can't say, wait a minute, I'm free. I can do what I want. I'm going to go 75. I can do anything. What happens if you violate the speed limits on the highways, on the roads? Your freedom gets restricted, right? So the whole point is, it's a biblical view. God puts fences around your freedom so that you don't hurt others, you don't hurt yourself, which is, the founders went and took that from the Bible, put it into our republic, so that laws protect and serve you and others around you that you might harm because of your liberty. It's an awesome thing, and it's not appreciated. This is how our country works. And more what they want to do is get rid of this idea of a limited government and have the government take over.